Now, many moons ago, long before I became the chain-smoking writer you see today, I actually started as a singer. Yeah, hard to believe, right? Yeah, by the time I was 17, 18, I actually formed a band and we used to play open mic sessions and local nights, stuff like that. And it wasn't long before I kind of moved on to taking on pub gigs and singing with some really incredible professionals in the scene here. However, by the time I hit my early to mid 20s, I decided to go back to school and be trained as an audio engineer. And basically, I think a better part of the first half of my life was spent in the music and entertainment industry. Yeah, some trivial about me that you might not know. So the point I'm trying to make is music. Music is something that we kind of take for granted sometimes. I mean, it's everywhere. It is everywhere around us. If you go to a shopping mall, you take public transport, even when you're in an elevator. Elevator music, anyone? Yeah? So it is always there that we tend to forget about it. But, and here's the kicker, if one day music just disappeared from the face of the planet, like we just take it away, no more music anywhere else in the world, I bet you every single person on this planet would notice it. Yeah? Think about it. Now, the thing is, I mean, since it's such an integral part of our lives, how did we discover it? When did it come about? Who invented it? You know, how did we realize that a certain frequency of vibration of the air will produce sounds that are pleasing and pleasant to our ears? And if we put together a series of these sounds, it actually makes melodies and it enriches our lives and it uplifts our spirits in certain cases. So stick around for this video and we'll talk about it. Hello and welcome to the Chain Smoking Writers channel, where we share the myths, legends and histories of the Chinese people, from the first creation myth to the last imperial dynasty. More than 6,000 years of stories, one video at a time. And if you like content or videos like this, remember, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video drops. Now, the protagonist of today's story is a man named Ling Lun. Now, Ling Lun was a very knowledgeable man and he was known to dabble in all kinds of subjects and crafts of his time. Apart from his incredible knowledge and skills, what made Ling Lun stand out from the crowd was that he had this incredibly sensitive pair of ears. He could pick out all the minute details of every single sound that was produced in nature. Now, around this time, Huang has already more or less consolidated his rule over the land, and he was in the process of developing and upgrading the lives of the people. He realized something. He realized that apart from the usual farming and hunting, the people led rather monotonous lives. Well, apart from the occasional conflicts and wars, the people do lead rather monotonous lives. So Huang Ti was trying to find a way to enrich the lives of the people. So when Huang Ti heard about Ling Lun and his pretty special talents, he asked Ling Lun if it was possible to replicate, in a way, the sounds of nature through man-made constructs. In a way, I guess what he was asking Ling Lun was that, is it possible to make music? Now, Ling Lun being kind of a Renaissance man, yeah, I know it's a few thousand years before the Renaissance, but you get the point. Being the kind of Renaissance man, Ling Lun found this idea extremely appealing, and he took up the mission to create music, with gusto. And thus, Ling Lun set off on his journey of discovery to find a way to construct this instrument that was asked of him. I mean, he traveled far and wide across the land, and for more than 20,000 leagues or more than 10,000 kilometers, he traveled and he walked until he reached this place to the west of the land of Xia and in the shadows of the Kunlun mountain. Now, the area around the Kunlun mountain enjoys a great climate all year round. It's basically spring all year round. And the grass were green, the flowers were fragrant, and the trees were billow in the winds. It was a beautiful place. Now, when Ling Lun arrived in this paradise on earth, he was already exhausted. I mean, come on, dude, walk further most probably than I do in my lifetime, man. Yeah. But yeah, the point is he was exhausted by the time he reached this area to the west of Sia, in the shadows of the Kunlun mountain. And so he just sat down, or rather he lied down on the cushiony grass to relax, to rest his weary bones. He listened to the gentle tinkling of the streams that flowed nearby. You know, he breathed in the shashaying of the grass around him, and he heard the bamboos sing as they swayed along to the winds. Now, as he was enjoying this symphony, this music that nature was performing for him, a light bulb went off in his head. He suddenly realized that the singing bamboos was something that he could use to complete his mission. So Ling Lun quickly got up from his rest and he trekked into the bamboo forest just off to the side. And after days of searching in the forest, he chose 12 stalks of bamboo that were roughly equal in girth and length. And with his skills at craftsmanship, he hollowed out these stalks of bamboo and made 12 bamboo pipes of roughly about 9 inches each. Now, you know, in his enthusiasm, of course, he immediately set to blowing into these pipes to make them sing. However, while the sounds that they produced were loud and bright, they lacked any tune, and they were pretty much dissonant to each other, and it was far, far from the songs of nature that he heard and enjoyed. So when Ling Lun brought these pipes, these bamboo pipes with him back to the settlement, back to the Huaxia people, back to Huang Di's tribe, and he, you know, blew into them and he showed them to the people and let them hear what he was able to make. The people basically laughed at him, like seriously, they laughed at him and they were joking about it. They were saying like, you know, Ling Lun, you should just quit. You should just quit. The only things that these pipes are good for, you know, all these sounds are good for, is to scare away the predators that strayed too near to the settlement. Yeah, that's about the only thing they are good for. And to add insult to injury, there was this time where Ling Lun was, you know, trying his darnest to get these pipes to work, and Huang Di was out riding nearby, and when the air screeched with the terrible noise that was produced by these pipes, Huang Di's horse got spooked, and they threw Huang Di off the horse and ran away, you know, escaped with all haste, you know. Yeah, that happened. Imagine that you are working on something and kind of accidentally, as a side effect, injured your boss. And Ling Lun, of course, was like horrified by this turn of events. Like, you know, whatever he did kind of like threw his boss off the horse. Yeah, the thing is, so he just rushed over to Huang Di and helped him up to his feet. And of course, he begged for forgiveness. And Huang Di, being the benevolent and generous man that he was, and of course, seeing how anxious and dejected Ling Lun was by this time, he simply laughed the matter off, and he told Ling Lun, he said like, look, if your pipes are good enough and powerful enough to scare my horse off, I'm pretty sure that, you know, it would have the ability to produce beautiful sounding music in future. You know, all it needs is just a little more work and maybe a little more research into it. And Ling Lun was kind of embarrassed by what Huang Di told him, and he asked Huang Di basically, my lord, it's been about 3 years since you gave me this mission, and I haven't been able to produce music like you asked. All I'm able to do is to make this horrible sound. Why are you still so encouraging towards me and what I do? And to that, Huang Di told him, Ling Lun, you have managed to create sounds just by drilling holes into a simple stalk of bamboo. That in itself is an achievement. What do you mean disappointment? How have you disappointed me in any way? And thus, knowing that Huang had so much confidence in him, Ling Lun doubled down on his efforts to make music for the people, but it's not to be. Still, his efforts did not yield any progress or any advancement in his quest. So one day, Ling Lun went up to a mountain to seek inspiration for a solution. And he sat on a boulder to meditate on this problem, but soon, most probably due to exhaustion, he soon fell asleep. He was awoken by the most beautiful melody he ever heard. He immediately got up, rubbed his eyes, and upon the tallest tree on this mountaintop, he saw two of the most magnificent birds he had ever seen before, singing a duet to each other. The bird's song was melodious and moving and harmonious and beautiful. And Ling Lun held his breath and listened intently, and before he knew what he was doing, he was blowing into his pipes in a feeble attempt to emulate what he was hearing. And just as he was fully engrossed in emulating the birds, they stopped singing and they just flew away. Now, when Ling Lun went back to the settlement, he reported the incident to Huang and he played on his bamboo pipes an incomplete and most probably grossly inaccurate rendition of what he heard for Huang. And Huang was greatly excited and he exclaimed that those were most probably phoenixes, and that to have phoenix appear so near to the settlement was indeed a great omen for the people and for the tribe. Now, the place where Ling Lun spotted the phoenix was named Phoenix Peak or Fengling. And Ling Lun would return to that spot every day to await the appearance of the phoenix so he could, listen to their song again. And he was not disappointed because the pair of phoenix, would appear there on a regular basis soon after the first encounter he had. Now, through his tireless observations, Ling Lun noticed that the male phoenix call was powerful and bright. In modern parlance, I think you could say that it would cut through the frequency range. While the female phoenix had a call that was gentle and lingering, sort of like a soft, gentle massage for your ears when it sang. And whenever the phoenix landed, they would first start off by calling out to each other with 6 calls each in different notes, one after another. And after calling 6 times to each other, they would sing together as a duet, a beautiful melody, before they would fly off again. So after much trials and errors and hours upon countless hours of fine-tuning, Ling Lun was able to tune the sound of his pipes according to the notes of the phoenix's calls. And he was able to finally standardize the relations between the notes in an octave. I mean, if you notice, 6 from the male phoenix, 6 from the female phoenix, in total 12 makes up an octave, just like modern music, 12 notes in an octave. What are the odds, man? So he presented his findings to Huang, who was greatly excited about it, and he praised Ling Lun profusely for this discovery. The excited Huang told Ling Lun, your discovery and music theory will be forever passed down in perpetuity to future generations. However, I foresee that it will be very difficult to preserve your bamboo pipes for such a long time. Go find Rongjiang and cast 12 bells according to the tune of your pipes. That would ensure that our descendants and future generations will be able to tune their musical instruments accurately. So Ling Lun and Rongjiang cast the bronze bells, 12 great bronze bells, and used them to tune all the musical instruments of the land. And on the 14th day of the second moon in the following year, Ling Lun and his musicians put on the first musical performance in history for the people of Huang, for the Huaxia people. And the composition they played was this composition known as 咸池. Now, if you enjoyed this video or this story, please remember to smash the like button. It will really help the channel out a lot. And now, we move on to bonus facts. Today, we're going to share 7 interesting facts about music that you might not know. Music affects your perception of the world more than you might imagine. A 2011 study conducted by the University of Groningen showed that music not only affected a person's mood, it had an even more significant effect on a person's perception of the world. The subjects who were tested were influenced by the music that they heard based on what they saw. Now, the participants were asked to listen to music and identify the corresponding smiley faces they were shown. Smiley faces that matched the music were identified more easily and more accurately. And even when the participants were not shown any smiley faces, they thought that they could recognize a happy face when listening to happy music and a sad face when they were listening to sad music. Number 2, music helps plants grow faster. You might have heard of this before, but a study conducted by South Korean scientists from the National Institute of Agricultural Biotechnology, they found that plants grow faster when music is played around them. The study used 14 different classical pieces, including this Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata, in rice fields, where they grow rice. And the findings were that music actually helped the crops grow at a faster pace and pointed to the evidence that plants actually might have genes that enable them to hear. Number 3, music education leads to higher test scores. Now, students who have experience with music performances or are taking music appreciation courses score higher on the SATs. One report found that they scored on average 63 points higher on verbal and 44 points higher on math. Now, music students also tend to show a higher level of self-confidence and are responsible risk takers, and they are good team players and have increased coordinations. They are more creative, are more emotionally developed, and have a healthy sense of achievement. Now, would that explain how well-rounded of a human being I am? Who knows? Number 4, listening to music utilizes the entire brain. In 2011, Finnish researchers developed a new groundbreaking method to study how the brain processes different aspects of music, including rhythm, tonality, and timbre in a realistic listening environment. Now, the study revealed for the first time how much of the brain was actually activated when a person listens to music. And this includes parts of the brain that were in charge of motor skills, emotions, and creativity. They were all activated, lighting up like Christmas trees, in the study. And this new method actually helped us to better understand the complex dynamics of the brain and the many ways in which that music affects us. Number 5, music is actually physically good for your heart. A study conducted in the University of Pavia in Italy showed that music actually promotes a healthy cardiovascular system by triggering the physiological changes that modulate blood pressures, heart rate, and respiratory functions. Researchers also found that rich classical phrases that lasted 10 seconds or longer actually caused the heart rates and other parts of the cardiovascular system to synchronize with the rhythm of the music being played. Now, granted that the study only tested 24 subjects, half of which were experienced singers and the other half had no music training whatsoever, the musicians actually showed a stronger physiological response than the non-musicians to the music that was being played to them. Number 6, cows actually produce more milk when listening to slow music. A 2001 study by 2 psychologists from the University of Leicester suggested that cows who listen to slow, soothing songs actually produce 3% more milk than a control group. Now, cows that listen to rap or techno music showed no discernible difference in the milk production. Now, the explanation is that when a cow is stressed, it slows down the production of this chemical called oxytocin, and which is crucial for the production of milk. So playing music that relaxes the cows actually helps them to produce more milk. Number 7, and this is here because, heck, why not? Did you know that Monaco's army is actually smaller than their military orchestra? That's true. Go check it out. At the time of this recording, the Monaco army has a total manpower of 82 men, while the military orchestra has, check this out, 85 members. So technically, yeah, they have a bigger military orchestra than they have a military. Chew on that. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's video and story, and if you did, remember to smash the like button and remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified whenever a new video drops. And if you would like to support my work or just connect with me on other social media platforms, all the links are down below in the description box. And if you have any feedback or anything you want to say to me regarding the production or regarding the story or the videos, just tell me whatever you want to say in the comment section. I would personally go through every single comment and I generally would respond to all of them. So yeah, don't be shy. Leave your comments below. I'll get back to you. And I guess that's it for today, and I'll see you soon in the next episode.